All right, guys, we have a special guest for you today in front of me, as you cannot see because we are on a podcast right now. We have the guys from Allegaeon. Coming from Allegaeon, we have Greg Burgess.
Hello.
We have Brandon Park.
What's up?
And Brandon Michael.
Yes.
Too many Brandons got the mic.
Yeah, we're going to pass
Backwards.
it around. That's fine. Danny's also here. Danny, say hello to the fans.
Hi, I'm new here. How are you?
Danny, I'm so happy that you're here.
Thanks. I know we had like a full connection.
There's only one of us so far.
You got to work with this man.
Guys, let's before we move on any further, just give us a quick brief about who you guys are, and for the fans or anyone listening into this podcast right now or tomorrow, more than likely when it gets put up.
Who are you?
Brandon Park. I play drums. What else do you want to know? I don't know.
I just wanted him to answer that question. I'm Greg. I play guitar. I've been in this band way too long.
I'm Brandon Michael, a.k.a. Boo Boo Money, a.k.a. The Stuff. Wow. And I'm the latest addition to Allegaeon.
Cool.
Can we
call him Boo Boo Muffin?
He has a stage name as well. Like in black metal, everyone has that really cool stage name. You know, like Saint Euronymous or Michael.
I think we do like drop bear now. You guys have had drop bears. They're like kind of vicious koalas. Did you get told about those?
Yeah. Well, they actually, my original name was going to be the Big BM because that's my initials, but apparently the guys didn't think that was very nice, which I thought was hilarious. But koalas, no. We did see a scary picture of a wet koala earlier, but that's about the closest thing to scary koalas I've ever seen.
Yeah, don't be fooled. We talked about this downstairs. The koalas are nasty. They like got claws. They're they're cute, but get in the wrong way. Yeah, they're like tiny people.
Yes, maybe we should start interviewing these guys. Okay, first we'll make fun of your name because Allegaeon is a very unique way of spelling and it's pronounced quite differently. Like we know you guys like a tech death melodic band. Did you guys have to make your name technical? Could you make it simple?
Oh no, the story's completely fucking stupid. Wait, can I say fucking stupid?
Yeah, I think you just did.
We got no sponsors, so no one to lose.
Oh, good. I'm just wondering, do I have to curb that?
Oh no.
Okay, guys, because it's really fucking stupid.
Okay.
Buckle up. Okay, so when I joined the band, it was a band, we were called Allegiance. And the guitar player that I replaced, when he was checking, spelled it wrong because I before E, except after C, he missed that day in school. So he completely spelled the name wrong. So he's like, dude, no one's called this. So we were Allegiance, and then we got litigation letters. Yeah, people were like 3 other bands called Allegiance.
Really?
Yeah.
So they all didn't go to school either, and they all spelled the name wrong.
They all spelled it wrong.
No.
Oh, okay.
Because they were spelled correctly.
What?
But then Ryan knew how to spell it, so he spelled it
I see.
correctly, and then and that whole thing. So it was like we'd already been a band for a while, so then it was like, how we have to change our name. How do we keep it and not lose all our fans? It has to be similar or whatever. So we just threw vowels at it. I mean, it is fucking gibberish.
Yeah.
As much as it can be.
And the only way I was calling it a lie. I was calling it Allegaeon until Chris Broderick, ex-guitarist from Nevermore / Megadeth.
I love dude, Chris.
Yeah, because he was on a tour with you guys for something, whatever. I think it was his own band.
It was Act of Defiance. It was their first tour ever.
Yeah,
that's right.
And he was saying like, everyone's been saying it's Allegaeon, but it's actually Allegiant. I'm like, dude, you're teaching me so much, you know. So you got to thank the boy.
I love Chris, man.
Oh, everyone loves
He's
Chris.
so muscular.
He is. Have you ever heard his story of why he got into guitar? It's really interesting.
There was so many stories he told.
Oh, okay. Well, the one I heard was that he actually used to play football and was really good at it. Then he got like an injury, so he was put out of commission for a while.
That's right.
None of his friends came to visit him on this team. And so he was all nerdy and stuff, locked away. He felt depressed, picked up a guitar, and that's how you become a shredder.
Yeah.
Through depression.
Yep, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Is that how like you guys joined a band like through depression or?
No. We joined a band to be in depression.
Oh, is that right?
Dude, I want to show them the name of our group chat.
Oh yeah, no. That's a story for another.
Oh man.
Oh, that's all right. We'll get other interviews. Don't worry about it. So a little bit about what's come about this new album that you guys got. We actually talked about the latest album. Danny's a super metal fan.
We actually reviewed it.
So Danny loved it.
How did we do?
I enjoyed it.
Danny really loved it. I think it was a good album too.
Yeah, so we
I was waiting. I was like, I thought it was fucking sucked, but he liked it.
No, it's good.
Did you? But you wrote it. You should like it.
Yeah. But Daniel, what about the album you want to talk about first?
I guess the name Apoptosis, is that actually a reference to anything exciting, or are you guys creating your own?
This is a great question for Brandon.
Oh.
No, You go ahead.
Well, that was close.
Hey,
nearly.
do you want to take a shot?
Well, I mean, this is like Riley's the conceptual guy, but it's to my knowledge that apoptosis was a cellular regeneration, like the death of cells to make life to new cells, and it just seemed kind of like, I guess, appropriate for where the band was at the time we were writing it. So, and then it also sounded really like fucking cool. So.
Yeah, it does. It actually reminds me of like, because you guys got to hang out with Obscura a bit, and they're kind of like the ones who think of a concept and kind of run with it for a while. So was this kind of one that splash over from other albums, or is this something that's new?
I think it's completely new. I think that we always write about science, so it was a scientific topic, Yeah. And then it worked on that level for what we're known for, and then also just like the metaphor for the fact that we can't keep band members.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's evolving type.
Right,
thing.
so it's
okay.
like we have to, like, parts of us die so that the band gets better. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because
deep.
yeah, I mean that's right.
And completely intentional. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was really. He's like, it's perfect because so like now we have this guy.
Yeah.
And the world's better. Our world's
definitely.
better.
Wait, you're not like the Taylor Swift of metal. You have to like fire people to write new albums. You guys are gonna stick together this time for the next album, or you're gonna? Is that too far
That's
away?
the idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. If we show up at an Applebee's, then it won't be that way.
Is that the rules?
And the band's over.
Yeah. No, we always go to an Applebee's to fire someone. That's how it
Is that
goes.
right?
Yeah.
Because they can't make a scene because it's in public.
Yeah, it just always happened to be at an Applebee's, but now it's hilarious. So yeah,
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
If we wake up at an Applebee's, some guy who knows he'll just go, "What did I do?"
Yeah, it's true. I used to get broken up over text, but I had really cool girlfriends, so that was tough.
Fair enough. But I look at your guys' Facebook page. Your new album seems to be doing quite well, especially on the Billboard charts. Have you been, I guess, surprised with how it's gone? Have you expecting it to be doing this well?
Dude, this is an awesome question for Brandon.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
He smiled then as well.
Yeah, no, it's really awesome.
Yeah. No, that's right. I mean,
I don't have much to add. He said it so well.
it is so succinctly.
And in many words, for sure.
Many words. Yeah.
No, I think we were all excited about it because we had written and recorded the album quite a bit before it was released, and I think we all had time to kind of like digest it. And then when it came out, it was just kind of a nice like affirmation that like, oh, we put a lot of work into this because we were touring a lot, and a lot of work went into it. So to kind of get the feedback, I mean, it was definitely surprising.
Yes,
but it was also like super rewarding. Like, okay, cool. Well, at least other people and our fans are kind of on the same page with us.
Yeah.
Sweet.
What I'm really loving about not just what you've done with the album, but also some of the work on social media. I guess you guys don't really, I'm not sure if you realize or not, but how powerful I guess it is to have a market on the social media platform. We in Australia found out what was going on with you guys because you did that whole busking in the subway. That made news here in Australia. Well, not like on the mainstream, but we got it on our feeds and stuff. So that's pretty big news for you guys.
I was so drunk.
That was
One drink.
Did you get a lot of like?
Yeah,
Sniff the petrol fumes.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Did you get a lot of people coming up to you like, "This is Satan's music," and then a lot of like younger guys going, "Yeah, it's Satan's music." Like, how
it was New York City. They've seen everything. They did not give a shit. It was. I thought it was going to be horrible, but like some dudes were laughing. Other people thought it was great. Some women just kind of like, they're in their 40s or 50s. They just kind of looked at us and go, "Oh God!" And then they just walk faster. I mean, we made $1 in a bag of cookies. That was like more than I thought that was going to be. And some people were just like, "Oh God, whatever." It's New York. Like, they're so jaded. No one gave a shit.
Yeah, so you just curveball. I mean, for us, we don't get any of that stuff down Rundle Street. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's like 2 streets that way. It's our major like
shopping
retail district.
We've seen lots of people walking around with instruments for sure.
Yeah. That's just the jazz community though. Like, you can't pick up any jobs playing jazz. So
all you hear
work
is
anywhere.
Yeah, all you hear is that Hallelujah being played like 20 million times. It's the only song people play when they
Jeff Buckley
one.
Well, I mean, I think it's Leonard Cohen. But
I know that, but it's his arrangement.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah. Sorry, I wasn't trying to big league you there. I was just, my brain was going.
Well, he is the ultimate like encyclopedia of everything.
No,
I would never think you were trying to big league me.
Okay, well, thank you, Greg.
He's gonna try now.
Is he?
Just to shake things up.
Yeah.
In our relationship.
No, I just like fucking songs, man.
Yeah,
cool, man.
What do you think of Jeff Buckley?
Don't even know who that is.
No, I don't believe it.
That's okay.
we're going to talk about. I just about like notice you guys have to going through the streams of busing, etc. It's hard being a musician, but I notice you guys have started a Patreon account. Is that because of your dealings with Neobliviscaris, or did you guys come on your own way to do it?
We saw Neo did it. Actually, it was a weird story. So, like, we have a lot of fans that love Neobliviscaris.
Yeah.
So that's how we found out about Patreon. Actually, was through Neo. But like we didn't. This was long before we ever toured with them. Actually, so I saw a. I don't. They call it. I think it was like a music conference where Tim Charles gave his business plan as far as and it was like we had tried everything. We were in a lot of debt. It was like we were killing ourselves and weren't getting. It wasn't like we were pointing the finger at anybody. We just kind of just shit wasn't lining up, and we were like way overhead. And we tried getting bank loans, and no one would help us out. And like we were in danger of losing members because it was just like they couldn't find jobs because we was always on the road. And it's like, this is stupid that we're gonna lose a member, not because they weren't doing their job or all this. It was because they just couldn't afford to be in the band. And like, we kind of just like, well, that's not a good thing, especially if they just got here. What does that look like, So yeah, so I saw the TED Talks. A lot of our fans were patrons of Neobliviscaris, and they were like, you should do this, you should do this. Yeah. And I watched Tim's talk, and I was like, I love it. And we the way that we are as people is we don't take ourselves that seriously.
Sure.
And, we're jackasses.
Sure.
So when we launched the Patreon, we targeted our Patreon at our fans that knew that we were jackasses.
Okay.
That people, and of course, when people saw this, who weren't familiar with the band, got a really bad backlash. And then we were just like, what the hell is everybody's problem? And then we're like, oh, yeah, that didn't look good.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was a misstep on our part because we should have just been like, yeah, this is our fan club. Yeah. It's pretty much, like, that's what it is, right? Yeah. So we should have just said that, and then it would have just been like, it would have been forgotten immediately, but, whatever. It's in the past, but yeah. It was because of Neo, but it was predates our relationship with Neo.
With them,
sure.
Yeah, and I feel like though, I mean, since it's like inception, like the Patreon's been pretty instrumental in like just being able to like help different aspects of the band, and we also feel like we try to do our best to, I don't know, kind of just like nurture that and give them a special experience and an inside look that you otherwise wouldn't have. So I mean, it really is just a fan club. It's like it's a fan club of people who really support the band and in a different way, and just it kind of, I think, brings a sense of like exclusivity, And we have, we kind of build a relationship with a lot of these patrons too. Like we see them at shows and we hang out and do our things, and it's nice. It's like a really nice little family thing we got going on, and we're all about family. Legion is all about.
Oh
family.
yeah,
Sweet. Yeah, excellent. No, that's good to hear. I mean, it's kind of like they've done in sports for the last hundreds of years. So for them finally in the music industry now saying, become a member, support your team. I guess it's like the same theory. So it's great that it's out there for you guys.
Yeah. It's really helped. It definitely, it didn't, we kind of shot for the stars when we were like, hey, X amount and we won't have to work, It's like, and, we caught a lot of flack for that. And that was like, oh, well, aim high, miss high. That's kind of how we went. And then, so, I mean, like, it helped us get out of debt, and that's about what it's accomplished. So it's like forever grateful to our Patreons.
For sure.
Fantastic.
So is it something that you guys can see as making a living from being in a band? And your caliber, 5 albums in now, is it possible that you guys can actually now just be a touring band? And live?
To clarify, with the Patreon intact, or like
with
because
Patreon
of the Patreon?
now, do you feel like Legion now can solely be with fans? You can quit another jobs and actually be a full-time musician?
Oh, absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, and it's not, we're to the point where we don't really feel like it's a bad thing per se, because everybody likes, we all have work ethic at home too. And I mean, even though on the public appearance, it seems like we tour a lot, which we do, there's still a lot of downtime in between.
Yeah.
And I personally, just from my perspective, I enjoy like working just to stay busy and stay active and whatnot. But
sure.
I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where like honestly, anything could happen. We're just grateful to be a band and be able to like perform and continue to create music. And I think whatever kind of yields itself to like continuing that, whether that's working or not working, we don't really care either way. We just want to still be able to perform and do our things.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, what do you think?
I mean,
Yeah, excellent.
Eddie's out. Okay.
Yeah, go on, man. I guess like with your guys touring crew, your album only came out about 3 weeks ago. So have you actually been able to play any of your new songs live yet, or is this going to be the first time playing your new songs?
We played a show at home.
Yeah, we did. I think that was probably the first time we had the album finished, and then we played like the finished versions, because we actually played. Greg, what was it? It was the Rings tour where we debuted like a rough version of Extremophiles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we played like a kind of like an early, like, I don't know, type of version of that song, and then like I this would probably mark the first tour I think where we played two, like finished versions of the.
I mean, we played before we went to Europe with Obscuro. We played Stellar.
Did we?
Yeah, at Herman's.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a hometown show.
Yeah.
That's like a one-off.
I get you.
Did you guys manage to get on the space shuttle that was the Obscura bus? We saw pictures of that thing. That thing was massive. Is that true? Was that true? That
Obscura seem to have their own like bus.
They had a touring bus.
Touring.
It was that massive, big bus thing. Did you guys?
Oh, I mean, that's just European buses. Yeah, it was
European buses in general.
Yeah, it's 2 levels.
Yeah.
Everybody sleeps upstairs. Yeah.
What?
That's just normal.
That's actually pretty good.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really nice too. Like when you're done playing and you can just like go and sleep and just like close your little bunk and just be away from the world for a minute. It was awesome though. I mean, that whole tour package was a blast. Everybody was amazing. So
Wow.
yeah,
Cool.
great
I
times.
just thought in tech death metal to have buses like that. I'm like, that's where the money is. I mean, you have to practice and stuff. That seems like a lot of work.
That was actually.
That's
awesome.
amazing. Yeah, it was a cool time.
Yeah. No, it's Europe is a weird thing. We've only been to Europe twice, and every time we're in a bus because it's like it's not that much more expensive than renting a vehicle and getting a driver.
So why not, right?
It's pretty much it's just more cost effective, because if you're not doing that, you have to get hostels. And you have to find places to sleep. Right. It's like, well, for a few more bucks, a night, it's like
all handled,
it's
right?
all handled. Like we don't have to worry about drivers or anything like that. So it's just way easier.
How does it work like in America? I mean, you guys are pretty central in Colorado, so do you guys normally do the same, rent like an RV or something and drive around?
No, we have a van.
Oh, good. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. It's awesome. Did you even write on it? Didn't you see it? Yeah, it's really cool because you had a Facebook post where you did your van and you had the Obscura bus, and it was like, holy crap, Do you remember that?
Well, not particularly, but I will say that, I mean, I think everybody has been just accustomed to touring in vans because it's so, I don't know. I mean, we all like driving. We all have a good time, and we're all about being cost effective. And it's just in the climate we're at now, we're just about being as efficient as possible. Like that's why going back to the Patreon thing, it was so funny because we were joking about like buses and drivers, but the reality is we still do our blue collar thing, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I remember we got shit on because of that video. They're like, they have a fucking driver. I'm like, that was our bass player. Like
no one pays attention.
No one's
to bass
driving.
Player.
I mean, he's when his turn's up, one of us is up. So I don't know.
But no one pays attention to a bass player on stage. That's why. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I can verify 110%. Nobody cares.
Who's this guy? Like, if you like driving, Australia's the country for you because literally it's like 8 hours until you get to Melbourne or 2 hours, an hour by plane. So Australia's terrible for guys.
But that's Colorado.
Is that right?
It's like 8 hours to the nearest city.
No way. I thought it'd be nice being like central. I thought you'd be better.
No, it is. You can't
do it.
No, it's like you have to go. It's like 8 hours to like Wichita, I think. Is that right? You drive this all the time, right? It's super far to Wichita.
Yeah. It's 12 hours from me to you guys.
Yeah.
So.
12 hours.
12 hours from where he lives.
12 hours from Wichita sounds like a book title.
Yeah, it does.
There you go.
Or like a King's X song.
Yeah, that too.
And then like Albuquerque is like 8 hours, and then Salt Lake is like 8 hours, and
that's nuts.
Yeah.
I was hoping to move the conversation because I want to ask a question about we're listening to a track on the way here in part 3. It's proponents of sentence, is it?
Proponent 4.
4, right. So
because if I say of, then the anagram is piece of shit. So
Ah.
POS.
POS.
So I'm very careful. PFS.
Ah.
Yes.
Now, what made you decide on Benjamin Ellis? At the time, he was in Bloodshot Dawn, I think, but then he went to Sky Symmetry to do a guest solo.
Because I love Bloodshot Dawn.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. And then he left, and they're still doing good even without him in it. Have you guys heard the latest album?
Yeah, Morgan is incredible.
Yeah, he is incredible, right?
They're good buddies of mine. I love them.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Damn.
I remember taking a couple lessons off of Ellis one day, and I was like, look, I heard Bloodshot Dawn. I'm like, dude, I actually kind of dug your stuff, but I don't want to transcribe it. I'm really fucking lazy.
Yeah.
So, like, let's just talk. And then you tell me what you did. And he's like, yeah, sure, this is what I did. I'm like, let's just talk. Because it's really hard. But we have a saying in Australia, it's kind of like the Jeff Loomis paradox, where you can get this super awesome guitarist on your album, but then you have to learn a super awesome solo.
Right.
Was that something that you guys had to do? Because the solo he did was actually pretty tasteful and very beautifully played.
Yeah.
Was that, did one of you guys then have to go ahead and transcribe it? Or was
I play it live. But no, he tapped it out for me.
he did?
Actually.
I thought he would. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's a gentleman, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's also, he's a good buddy.
Yeah, it's like, dude, come on, man.
I was like, dude, I think I figured it out. And he's like, yeah, that's wrong. And I'm like, figured it. Yeah.
come on, best buddy. He's actually, he's a really cool dude. He's a super nerdy guy as well, He loves his games and stuff, but he's super approachable, super talkative. So, yeah, how the hell did you get a hold of Bloodshot Dawn? They were pretty, low key at the time, man.
Dude, I don't even remember. Actually, I have no clue. I remember I saw Ben play. Oh, okay. It's all coming back to me now. I remember it. Okay, so when Ryan quit Allegiant to go do Pyrithian, so we were looking for a good guitar player, and I didn't know anything about Ben, but I heard him play.
Yeah.
So I wrote him. I was like, hey, man, I don't know, my name is Greg. I'm in Allegiant.
Yeah.
I love your playing.
Yeah.
I just lost a guitar player. Don't know if you'd be interested in joining Allegiant. And then before he even responded, I just was looking up, and I was like, oh, he's in Britain. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
And then,
tough.
he's in Bloodshot Dawn. and I had heard of Bloodshot Dawn, and I had never really heard them, but I've heard of them. But based on his playing, I was like, well, I guess I'm a Bloodshot Dawn fan. And then I got into Bloodshot Dawn. Yeah, I think he did an Andy James solo competition video that I stumbled on YouTube.
Yeah, he did all. He comes at least first or second in all of them. He's just
I
a
think it
gentleman.
was. I think he came second or third, actually.
Yeah. Which is super crazy. And Bjorn as well. What made you choose Bjorn for that track as well?
He's one of my favorite vocalists.
Yeah. Have you heard his
Night
new
Flight
stuff with
Orchestra.
Night Flight Orchestra?
Yep.
What do you think of
Awesome.
that?
Yeah.
It is, isn't
Awesome.
it?
Actually, it's kind of weird. The new Soilwork, right? Vergleiten.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
some
Yes.
word.
Okay, so Soilwork's my favorite band.
Wow,
Okay,
damn.
my favorite band of all time.
Jeez.
Wow.
They beat out Megadeth a couple years ago after I saw them live. So
Wait, you saw Megadeth and they dropped, or you saw Soilwork and it raised them?
I saw Soilwork and it raised
Alright,
them.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's my question, right? Because now that David is in Soilwork and he's but those two are also in Night Flight Orchestra. Right. Do you feel that the new Soilwork is basically mixing the two?
Yeah.
And because I'm just I love Night Flight Orchestra and I love Soilwork. And I'm just but I don't really want them together, even though I love the new record.
Yeah.
But I'm just
okay.
it's a little too much combined.
It was.
Yeah, and I think
That's
what happens
great.
is if we have you had chicken palmies here? You have chicken palmies in Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, and it's like a chocolate cake. I mean, they're both awesome, but when you put them together, it's like worlds colliding.
much, you
It's
reckon?
just too much.
Well, you see, you're asking the wrong guy.
Oh, right.
Because Greg loves chocolate cake.
Wow.
I mean, he will eat chocolate cake pretty much under any
Anytime.
circumstances.
There's not a bad time to eat chocolate cake.
Really?
But
Okay.
yeah. Thanks.
It's true. I wanted that to be public record because there's a lot of little known things about Greg.
People need to
One
know.
thing is for sure, we do this thing where we we do this rehearsal at Stansel's mom's house over in Wyoming, and she's just the sweetest angel in the world. But she always gets us little snacks to get ready to go on tour. And Greg gets his own chocolate cake
Get out,
because
Greg.
the man loves chocolate cake.
Yeah, get out.
So Sorry, carry on with your conversation. I just had to interject.
That's all right. We're cool with that.
Dude, we kind of went on a tangent. This has nothing to do with anything. But yeah, I was just very surprised at the new Soilwork. I mean, I love the album, but it is a little bit too Night Flight Orchestra.
Yeah, it's well, they were kind of pulling after they lost Pete Winters, was it, or was it Ola Frenning when they lost both the original kind of guitarists? At that point, they were gone, and they replaced it with whatever day. I think it was David or something at the time. It seems ever since then they've become more progressive, and now it's gone full. Like you said, it's like this combination of two bands now.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was because they lost Dirk, and that was like a huge blow. Yeah. Even though Bastion is amazing.
Yeah,
and I really just didn't know. It's not that I dislike the record or it's a bad record, because it's neither of those things. It's a great record, but it's just a really strange. Like, it took me a while to
What kind of era of Soilwork do you love the most? The early death metal stuff when they started to kind of get the more like death sound, or the transition to rock when there was kind of like Figure Number 5? Or
Chainheart Machine and Predator's Portrait are like my favorite.
Yeah, the guitar work on those albums is ridiculous. Predator's Portrait is just unbelievable.
I also think it's because of how raw it is.
Yeah, it is.
The production, like it's almost bad, but it has charm.
Yes, it does.
It's like that snare sound is so weird that it's just like kind of cool. It's something about Predator's Portrait that's just, it's like, it sounds bad, but because it sounds bad, I love it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But it's not like bad production. You can hear everything. It's just a really weird production.
Yeah.
That's what you get. So have you been inspired by, like, I guess, the mellow death from Sweden in your writing? Because you do have a bit of strong melodies and nice tones in your songwriting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I didn't get into the Gothenburg sound till like, I don't know, like, I would say like 99, 2000. Okay. So I was a little late to the game. But I mean, Horacle and the Jester Race, and then I got Predator's Portrait, and then like the next day or something, Natural Born Chaos came out, and then I went work backwards and Soilwork, like totally nerded out. Steel Bass Suicide, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
that like influenced your sound a lot, because you've, like you mentioned, you also did like a bit of a classical piece is part of your guitar playing. Were you always like a classical guy first, then became more into heavy metal? Or?
No, it was what do you want to do with your life? I want to be a rock star.
Cool.
Yeah, good luck, I don't know, pick one, classical or jazz. And I was just, classical. I studied classical, and it was, huge Randy Rhoads fan. So it was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, well,
so then I just basically stopped playing electric and just played classical for years and years and years. And then I was like, I miss being in a metal band. So that's
so we are again.
Full
circle, man.
But touring with bands like Neo, are you inspired to put like more orchestration, more classical works into your music, or you've got your style and you're happy with your style?
I'm really happy with our style and how we're evolving, but I will say the one thing that I picked up from Neo Obliviscaris is the unique selling property that they present because of the violin. That's right. It's not so much about Tim's playing. He's a great player. He can sing his ass off. It's not really about that. It's because they stand out because they have something unique about them.
Right.
And then it was just like, there's so many bands. So it's like to have something unique like that you can use, it will only propel your band further. So taking a lesson out of that book, it was just like, oh, I need to really begin to like milk the classical guitar thing just to help us stand out a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
we get bombarded with information all the time on social media. It's like something like 5,000 things a day, so you can separate yourself.
Yeah, I think it worked really well. Like in your last album, Grey Matter Mechanics, I really loved that. Like the whole classical flamenco guitar into it. It was like a nice contrast, like a bullfighting type thing. Yeah.
You should come to our show tomorrow then.
I've got tickets. I've got my ticket.
That's why we're here tonight. Dan was like, we're going to talk to him. They're so cool. And I'm like,
calm down, man. I'm not a fan of going that hard.
What else should we talk about before we call it up, Dan?
Have you guys been screwed? Because you guys are still an imperial system. We're here on a metric system. So if you order a pint from our pubs, have you realised it's not actually a pint? It's a bit smaller.
I'll take the beer question. The funny thing about beer is like I notice when it's in a glass and then I drink it. So
okay.
No, I don't know. I didn't really notice that too much. Everything's like anytime we travel away from home, we just kind of take everything in for what it is. And I'm all for, it's kind of like a little, I mean, we're working for sure, we're touring, but it's like a little bit of a vacation because I'm with, with the family and the buds. And,
it's it.
So to answer your question simply, I did not notice that, but now I did. I'm going to be a cheap piece of shit and I'm going to complain.
Yeah.
I did really appreciate when you asked me the temperature question yesterday.
Yeah, there you go.
That's true. That's true. I saw it and I was like, what is, Greg, what's 20?
Are we? It's cool.
I mean, there is definitely a learning curve, but I mean, it's amazing. I think the first thing when we were in our room, Greg ran out of the bathroom and was like, "Hey, guess what? The toilet goes counterclockwise when you flush it."
You didn't try to turn it the other way, did you?
Yeah. So I mean, aside from that though, I mean, it's a blast. I've loved Australia so far. I can't wait to come back.
Excellent.
Minds were blown when we were coming here. We're like, dude, I don't think we've ever been south of the equator.
No, that's true. Yeah.
It really puts the world in such a small scale. But it's in a large scale, but it's like, because we've been so many places.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then it's just like, holy shit, this is the first time we're literally on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just so strange. That imaginary line that's on all the globes, dude, we're below it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I was totally not prepared for it to be this cold.
Yeah,
really?
Well, we were doing okay until last week.
Well, it's our
unfortunate,
our
guys.
fall.
Yeah, and I checked the weather last week. That's why I got screwed.
That was a weird week though. That week was not supposed to happen. We had this is like our fall now, like our autumn. So it's supposed to be this temperature is correct.
Yeah.
But last week was in the 30s, which is about 90 Fahrenheit or something.
Super hot.
Yeah, that wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah, it would have been nice.
I know. That's why you guys are touring like poorly. Even like Obscura, you're touring in the cold as well, weren't you? Like your last tour. So normally you come to Australia in the summer. But
That must be a shit to warm up with, man. You got like 10 minutes to do your scales, and then you have to go up on the stage.
Yeah, there's been a couple times. It's actually, I mean, it's really not that bad. There was only a couple times in the States where the green rooms were like disconnected from the actual venue.
Yeah.
So we'd have to like warm up and then like go like outside and then try to go play the show. But
brutal.
I mean, I don't know. Europe wasn't too bad. I mean, it got cold in some parts, but I mean, I don't know. We get pretty cold winters in the States too, so it's not too, I guess, off the course for us.
Yeah.
So.
Not really California. I guess Colorado, you get snow. California, I'm not sure how.
Yeah. I was hoping you weren't going to point that out.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Because I don't really get like super winters there. I mean, we have like areas like South Lake Tahoe and Reno and stuff that are up there in the mountains.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah, so we get that a little bit, but where I live, I think this weather here is like probably the coldest I get back home.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So it's like it's like a California winter. I'm not too bad.
All right,
Okay.
cool.
I'm doing
Nice. Only a couple of days and you'll be back.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to touch on the beer situation as well while talking about it. How do you find our beers? They're a bit heavier?
Well, what do you mean? Find your beers?
Well, we get the Budweiser, and what else do we get here? Coors, and
Yeah.
some of the American beers we get.
the top shelf shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's our West End and our BBs.
Apparently our beers are more higher strength. I think.
Have you noticed that? Is it something that because we are so, like you said, we get the commercial stuff from you guys. I have to pay like twice as much as well.
Yeah. Well, sorry.
Your fault.
We tried to buy Foster's for Nabla to scare us in the States.
You guys don't do the
we
Foster's
don't
thing,
do
huh?
Foster's.
So
You can't buy it here.
You can't buy here. pretty much.
Really?
No.
So Foster's is marketed as an Australian beer
Yeah,
where
it's
we're
not.
from, and it's like
Hilarious.
heavily marketed. Like you go to Outback Steakhouse, and it's like Foster's exclusive. But no,
I mean, did Outback Steakhouse? There's like
On
they-
the steakhouse, yeah, I get
Okay.
steak. Yeah, I
We
get
have-
steak, man. We got steak.
we have-
no, I just meant
Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Outback,
you
yeah.
see what I'm talking
No.
about. It's so Outback Steak again is an Australian branded like
I think they got in the
restaurant chain.
Sydney and
Yeah.
Melbourne. Don't think they got one here though.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
It's complete bullshit.
we don't- yeah.
But we buy it because we want to feel cultured.
Exotic.
Yeah.
So the thing is, in California specifically, actually, I guess in Denver maybe too. There's like this really big insurgence of like craft beers and like
Yes.
microbrews and
Yes.
things like that.
Yeah.
So I, in terms of Californians, like we are very, very snobby about our beer most of the time, which I think is complete bullshit because beer is beer.
Tastes the same, doesn't it?
So I don't know. I mean, I go with the age old barometer of like, if it tastes good, I'll drink it.
Sure.
That said, though, I haven't really. I know, right? Bulletproof. I've never really heard of like Australian beer branding though, aside from like the whole Foster's thing. That was like the
that's
only
interesting.
thing.
It's weird because here in Australia, what would be our Australian beer?
the South Australian main company here is called Cooper's, the one you had in your hand.
Oh, yeah,
That's our thing.
That is
That's
our-
Which is very tasty, by the
There
way.
you go.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the main
And I also
one.
really like how there's different varieties of the same. Cooper's is like a general brand, right?
That's
And there's
right.
like a stout, there's a pale ale, et cetera, et cetera.
That's right.
That's
like
right.
Coke, your Diet Coke, Coke Zero.
Yeah,
Coke's
yeah.
the same.
Which I
Yeah.
very much appreciate. Yeah. So I've not been disappointed by beer once here. So you guys are doing a great job.
And
Yeah.
Greg, how's a Coke compared to like American Coke?
You know, it's so super weird because
Is it? Oh, okay.
it is exactly the same, which I didn't expect.
I wouldn't
You
expect
thought
that.
it was going to be
I
different,
wouldn't
like
expect
chocolate, because our thing, we can't have chocolate from Europe
know.
because it melts or something.
that. I don't know.
very
Weird
strange.
difference.
No, it's true. So the thing about me and Greg, on top of just loving everything.
Yeah, the
Coke
Coke
in
in
Europe
Europe is vastly different.
Is
Yeah.
it better?
It's way less sugar.
Wow.
So this is the exact same stuff that we get in the
Okay.
States. Where in Europe, I feel like I need to drink like twice as many to get the same effect.
Yeah.
But you're right about the chocolate because I had M&Ms earlier and they tasted completely different, which is not a
Yeah,
bad
it's
thing. I mean,
different,
M&Ms are great. So
Yeah.
The Mars bar that I bought earlier is very different.
It is
Yeah.
different, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
I think
thought
our
that.
like our candies, they're more sugar than our candies.
But your restaurant, Subway, the sandwich
Yeah.
place, it smells the same
Is it?
everywhere you go. So there's always
It's
that.
that dark magic.
Yeah, it is,
I don't
man.
know. They're some kind of alchemists that
Is
work
it?
in that
Oh, it's all the
kitchen.
meatballs. That's where it is. That's why they hide all their black magic.
is that
Yeah.
is that your
Black
like,
Magic Meatballs. That's actually my new side project.
That should be your stage
So,
name.
so
That's your
just,
stage name,
just
yeah.
edit that out because I don't want anyone to steal that name.
Fair enough. So is that like
But
your
we always think that Subway, they're using dark magic because anything you get at Subway tastes the exact same.
No,
Tastes
yeah.
exactly
It
the
did
same.
like no, it doesn't matter what I order. I know it's gonna taste like Subway.
Yeah.
See, but Greg's biased because Greg does not like Subway. So.
okay.
And
No, it's not that, dude. I'll like Subway when
you-
I'm in the mood for that one.
Greg, I have a picture. I have a picture of you in my phone, sad eating Subway. So do not tell me that story.
So true, he has that photo.
Raining inside.
But dude, it's that like we ate it that one time.
What was the question again?
Yeah,
no, no, questions. What it is.
Okay.
Is that about
We are in the
beer?
question
Okay.
right now.
chocolate cake? I don't know.
Okay, it's M&Ms
but
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, it was the same. We did the same. We had to go eat. We're in Germany. We're on the Autobahn. Nothing to eat there but Hungry Jack's. Everywhere you
Yo.
just drive it down the Autobahn.
They got Burger
Oh,
King.
so that's totally weird for us because it's
Yeah,
called Burger King
that's
in the
right.
States.
Thank you. Right,
Yeah,
Burger King.
yeah,
Sorry,
And then we
my
walked by. I
apologies.
was like, wow, that looks like the Burger King logo.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I think that is Burger King.
And for us Californians, it's especially confusing because we have a very famous chain called Jack in the Box,
Okay.
which is usually like shortened to Jack's. Because we go, we're going to go to Jack or whatever.
Damn.
Yeah.
So like I'm having a really tough time.
Yeah,
Do you
that
want
would
to
be
hear the
Justin.
story
Fast
about that?
food.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happened down Hindley Street, which is like the party street here, but on the weekdays, pretty boring. Some guy made a restaurant called Burger King, like just a local dude had that. So when Hungry Jack's came to Australia, they couldn't use Burger King because someone already had the name here in Adelaide.
Genius.
So they had to come up with Hungry Jack's, and
Dude,
that's the name.
so weird. Did you hear
Yeah.
about McDonald's? There was a woman, her last name was McDonald, in Scotland, and her restaurant was called McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
McDonald's came in and sued her. Yeah, and
For
then
being
Lord McDonald
McDonald, damn.
went and sued McDonald's for using his name.
That's
Lord
right.
Lord Ronald McDonald.
And he would have had red hair. Scotland, they all got red hair.
Yeah.
And McDonald's dropped their suit. Lord McDonald won.
Lord
McDonald
won.
Wow.
I want
So
to
they
buy this guy Mac.
Just don't have McDonald's in that place, I'm guessing.
Oh, do you know what would be a great story to tell down here? Okay, so we're in Europe, and it was with Navel of Ascaris, so the Zen, the singer, Zen Campbell, right? So I guess his family, Highland origin, right? So the Campbell clan. The bass player Vervin was a McSporin. They have a blood feud going back hundreds and hundreds of years
kidding.
where the Campbell clan slaughtered the McSporins.
Damn.
Wow.
And this was brought up when we were in, do you remember where we were?
there for that.
Oh my God. It was
hiking somewhere.
Holy sh!
It was Italy? Yeah. And so, like, Aaron brought this up. He's like, yeah, I want to bring Navel of Ascaris, like, merch home,
Yeah.
but I won't, like, my family will disown me.
No
Whoa.
way.
Because Navel of Ascaris is the family motto of the
way.
Campbell clan.
Oh my god.
And it was super weird. And then I just, I was just like, Zen, you're a murderer.
Yeah.
Like, the whole time. I mean,
Thanks
it's
for
so
that.
strange because I was like, because obviously they don't care.
Yeah.
No.
Right? This is
it-
hundreds of years ago. It like
Yeah.
doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
We don't really have those in these days. But like, Aaron's grandfather would like not let him in the house.
Which, in an ironic twist of
Damn.
fate, we had this tour prank at the end of the Neo tour. Oh no! And it just occurred to me now that the genius and brilliance of Aaron's prank was so we did it. Anytime you're on the last day of tour, you always pull pranks on each other.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron dressed up as Zen
No.
and showed up on stage because Neo has these some of these elongated musical instrumental passages, and usually Zen will kind of break off stage to freshen up or whatever. And Aaron came out dressed as Zen.
No.
And now I'm realizing the brilliance of
That
it.
is
It
brilliant,
was
man.
like,
That's like start the fuse
it's just
again.
No. That was that's an olive branch
Oh, is it?
to me.
Oh,
I
okay.
feel like it was, but no, those two guys were amazing.
That's a cool story.
And
Dude, it was incredible. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. I was like, of all the random things
Yeah.
to happen,
Yeah.
like one dude who still lives in England,
Yeah.
and one dude whose family was exiled here hundreds of years ago for stealing a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
And then it's just bizarre
That
on
is
the
a
biggest
cool-
level.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to say is metal unites.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
true.
It's very much true.
But you're trying to pick your next band, mate. You really got to be careful. You need get their family tree and
Yeah.
lean over your family tree. Get Wikipedia out. Is that what's going on
It's
here?
like we almost had the perfect guy, but he was a Hatfield and we're a McCoy.
All right, so before we go, we're going to do our spot. I think the
Our
three bands.
controversial
are gonna be
question. Dun, dun, dun.
Soilwork, Megadeth, and who's the third band? Who's your favorite
Oh
band?
yeah.
there?
So it's just-
Wait, well let's go one each, I guess.
Yeah, one each.
Yeah.
Okay.
Start off
One
with
each?
start off with Greg since he's already two in. Your favorite bands.
Wait, so I have to pick a third?
Just pick one favorite band. We'll
Nah,
get
do all three. Do all
We'll do all
individual.
three?
Yeah.
Alright.
So this is the segment where you pick your three favorite bands. One band you join, one band you tour with, so one night stand pretty much, and one band you end. So that's our Snog, Marry, Kill.
We've got two already.
Okay, I'll do Overkill.
Okay.
'Cause I love Overkill.
Okay.
So Soilwork, Megadeth, and Overkill.
Yeah.
I would. So what are my options? Join
Tour.
Tour.
And end.
and end.
Yeah.
I would join Soilwork.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would tour with Overkill, and I would end
And
Megadeth.
Megadeth.
Yeah,
Damn.
Megadeth, yeah.
Strong,
Yeah,
strong.
fair enough. I mean, that would make a lot of people upset.
Yeah.
But
They're a legacy band. They've been
Yeah.
around. I mean, what more are they going to do?
Yeah, that's right.
really,
Yeah,
you know?
true. Blast Beat's apparently in their thrash metal records, apparently. Jack's in there now.
Don't believe anything until it's out.
Dave did say it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, well, it's not even that. I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah.
That's
But they've played the same set list for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's.
Yeah.
I've seen them. I'll never see them again. I'm at
Yeah.
that point. It's like I've seen them,
Yeah.
and it's the same show every time. So
Yeah.
there's not
Yeah.
really a point.
Yeah, Hanging
There's-
Routine's there, all that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
So,
It's
yeah,
You
great,
know,
but-
it's like I'm going to see a Tulamone. I'm going to see
Yeah.
Peace Cells. I'm going to see Hang Rate. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
do you? I guess that's the curse of having that many hits too.
True.
On the positive side of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd just once. I'm like, can you please play My Last Words?
Yeah.
Can you please play I don't know, Looking Down the Cross for me, please, just once.
Yeah, man.
Just play a deep cut, something, and
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get it.
No, you're not, man. I'm
Shame.
sorry.
Well, thanks for playing. That.
Thank you.
Now, Brandon, your three.
Yeah, you're next. Yeah, I'm really curious too.
Cool.
Three favorites, man. All right. I guess Sumac is a band I love very much. Tears for Fears.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. And I guess the last one's a tie between Alice in Chains and Iron Maiden. I'm gonna say Iron Maiden.
Say
Okay,
Iron
cool.
Maiden.
I'm gonna say Iron Maiden. Join. I guess Sumac just because I love the music so
Oh, wow.
much.
There you go.
Just Aaron Turner is just I just love the way that band sounds. And probably as much as I am inclined to say Iron Maiden, I'm gonna say Tears for Fears just
Yeah.
because I feel like I've gotten or I've received enough of what I enjoy and I can
Yeah.
relive that through records. And then touring Iron Maiden a million times. I would
Yeah.
think that would be I don't know, I feel like no matter what happens, if that ever happened, which would be crazy,
Awesome.
Yeah.
I could just live my life saying, hey, I toured with that band. Because I remember
Yes.
when I was a kid, so my parents are super into metal. Actually, I think my parents went to an Iron Maiden show for their honeymoon, if I'm not mistaken.
They're bad.
Damn.
Yeah, I
Next
know,
level.
dude. I took my mom to a Behemoth show for Mother's Day.
Yeah,
Like,
nice.
she's been into that shit for years. She's way
Wow.
harder than I am. But anyways, I remember as a kid, my dad we used to do this thing like on the weekends where they would like just listen to music or watch music videos because that was like a thing back then. And there was this VHS tape called like the British Invasion or some shit like that my dad had like stolen from the video store or just rented it and never returned it. And it was like, Judas Priest and Maiden and like, all these like, sick British bands. And I remember seeing Maiden, like, I think it was like The Trooper or something, and just being like, holy shit, this band is like the best thing I've ever seen. I just like one of those things that when you get to that, it's really weird because like you go through your life listening to music as a kid or whatever, but then there's always that one band that kind of like when you become aware of shit, like you become aware of things, you're like the one band you identify with, and that was like my first like, God, I just love this band and I don't know why.
That was Megadeth for me.
You just don't know why. You just something about it, and plus, like as a bass player, dude, Steve Harris is like the shit. I mean, he is like, oh man, like so great. So, I guess that puts me in my spot.
No, you did.
All right,
Well
we got one
played.
more to go.
Plus, you get a tour in a plane.
What's that?
You get a tour in a plane. And upgrade from the bus and the van. So.
I would literally like be like the guy who mops up piss at the end of the show to be on tour with like, or the guy who like cleans out Eddie's suit or something. Whatever. Sure, fuck it. I don't care. All right, man, you're up.
I'm so excited.
All right, 3 man.
favorites.
Okay, Kiss for sure.
Yeah.
Testament.
Oh, yeah,
How good
cool.
is Brothers of the Snake?
Yeah.
And then I'm having a hard time picking a third one.
Steel Panther.
See, okay, Steel Panther would be a good one to tour with
Oh, that'd be fun.
because I would have a blast.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that one.
So the rule is you have to tour with one.
Yeah. Break up one and join.
And join
Okay,
the other.
break up Kiss for sure.
Yeah, it's
do
pretty
a
easy.
purple in that.
I think that's
As much as
happening.
I love everything they've ever done,
They need to-
they've already done it all.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not good anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They need to
it's
go.
not
that
good
way.
anymore.
I just read they got called out for lip syncing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet as well,
Well,
yeah.
I would hope so because I saw him actually doing
Yeah,
it.
Paul
It's
did.
not good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
and
join
then tour
and
with-
Testament.
Oh yeah, join for sure.
Yeah, cool.
Love that
Now,
band.
how good is the Brotherhood of the Snake for you? That album, we think it's one of the best albums in the last 10 years. What do you think of the album?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Eric Peterson's like our
Do
fucking
you get into
god
like
here.
Dragon Lord as well? Because we love.
You like
Yeah.
Dragon Lord? We like Dragon Lord too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see this real quick.
Okay, cool.
Because Dragon Lord is actually, it's a funny story because I was in a band back home like 15 years ago when I was in like high school or whatever it was, and I played this festival in Bakersfield, California, opening for Dragon Lord.
No way.
Which is bizarre because it was the only show they played all year.
Yeah,
and
shit.
it was a festival in Bakersfield called 420 Fest, believe it or not.
Did they wear the corpse paint?
They absolutely fucking did.
yeah, because they
Yeah.
started off not, but then the second time they did.
Oh, and I got another funny story about that. Is
Oh,
like,
yes, please tell.
we were backstage, and like it was like a couple of the bands congregated. There was a ton of bands there. Anyways, long story short, we're back there, and everyone was like fraternizing and like, oh, what band are you from? Blah blah blah. This blah blah blah. And then the conversation came to me like, what band are you from? And then I name dropped my my band at the time, and just like blank faces, and I was like, great, like you guys are legends and great. But yeah, they played and it was fucking amazing.
Awesome.
So yeah,
super
super good band.
Because I know what he does in Testament is awesome. We love Testament, but it's just a shame because we love Dragon Lord too.
You wouldn't. He done it to
Yeah, Dragon Lord is just like, and like that name, like, fuck, like how could you not be a sick
But
ass
I
band?
thought it was a power metal band because we bought like the Rapture album. They were holding swords and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
power
yeah.
metal, not
Steve
power metal.
Smith, X Nevermore and all that on it, and we're like, damn,
Not power metal.
Yeah.
I get it.
I mean, you think Brotherhoods of the Snake was literally
We
the
love
best?
that album.
Not the top 10 of the,
Not
of
the top
decade,
10, but we love that album,
in
don't
that
we?
year we gave it like second best album of the year
Yeah.
behind
It falls like
Flesh God.
It falls Flesh God's the King album is really.
That was
really
the best
good.
for
That's
16,
best.
and that
We
was the
love
second best
album
we
too.
thought in 2016.
Oh, who came in first?
Flesh God with
Flesh
the
God,
King.
the King album.
Flesh God Apocalypse.
Okay.
Yeah.
We really like that.
I mean, then what's your favorite Testament record?
Yeah, we should interview you
Holy
guys now.
shit, we are not great.
Nah,
Testament
I've only
fans.
heard that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've only got that
all
one.
I remember, I'm really like gonna shoot myself in the foot here, but I remember like seeing that music video for his like Trial by Fire. And
Yeah,
that's,
yeah,
like,
I've seen that one.
That's like the only like exposure I've ever had to Testament, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like,
Low is my Bible.
So we do low. You be saying.
I would say low, hands down.
All right, we'll do a retro review and we'll listen to the album and we'll put it on the internet
recommend
and let you know.
Low,
what goes on.
yeah,
Low.
hell yeah. Hail Mary.
Which
Low.
album from you is your testament?
Yeah, Brandon, you can join in. We
Which
see
is
you
I
nodding.
would definitely say low too.
Low as well.
Okay.
All
Oh,
right.
damn.
Me and Brandon are basically the same person when it
Yeah.
comes
Seems
to
that way.
music a lot.
Yeah, okay.
A lot.
Makes
Sick.
it easier.
Yeah.
This is really exciting. We're
Cool,
going to get into some
cool.
serious listening soon. Cool. Guys, we've taken up almost an hour of your time.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to say before we...
Do you think we care? if we weren't here, we would be asleep, and we need to be awake because we have just gotten off stage. Yes, tomorrow at this time.
Pretty
Basically.
much right.
Are you kidding me?
It's only 9.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
goodness gracious.
You guys are gonna actually tomorrow's pretty much a rain out day. It's gonna like rain buckets tomorrow, so you guys are probably just gonna be sleeping.
It's
in the
because we're
afternoon.
playing.
It's true.
Is that right?
The gods
Dude,
of
it's
darkness.
5 a.m. my time.
Is it? You guys are doing quite well.
5:30
Full on.
a.m. So
You're just getting up. Not even just getting up for me.
I won't be up for another 5 hours.
Damn, real musicians, man.
Yeah, that's badass. Yeah, no,
It's if it's not double digits, fuck that.
Yeah,
Damn,
right.
jeez.
That's impressive.
Very nice.
I was the same because I always like to write at night because when you're playing at night, it's like it's dark, it's depressing, it's very metal, and if it's raining, it's even more metal. But it never really rains here, so yeah, I get that, man.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to mention about
Yeah.
your band? Like anything coming up you want to shout
More
out?
stories
Any-
you want to shout out before we cruise?
Thank you guys for checking out the new album.
Oh, no problem.
I mean, Apoptosis is a lot of fun for us to write and seems to be getting received pretty well. So thank you guys so much.
No, you're welcome, man.
We are on this tour right now.
Yes.
Starts tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a
Yes.
couple festivals coming up, and I just stay locked in and locked tight.
Awesome,
Nice.
man. That sounds great.
I love that.
I love that. Let's leave it on a high note. All right.
Well, and thanks guys for agreeing to this on such short notice, and yeah, thanks for asking us the question which might ruin your careers with Megadeth. So
Yeah.
Well, if it happens, if it happens, we will sue you. So
Yeah, do it. Yeah, do it.
you
I'll-
have that mic. That's
Uh,
what you
we
get.
don't have any money,
If
but
that ruins our career, that will be one of the greatest stories
You
ever.
reckon they might do like a whole like dirt movie on Netflix? Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of guys in rooms texting. though.
Is that
That's the dirt of Allegion. Sitting in rooms texting.
awesome.
excellent. Again, yeah, all the best, you guys, too, and
Yeah.
thanks for coming to
Thanks a lot,
Australia.
guys.
We really
Thank you.
appreciate it
Yeah.
because honestly, when I heard you guys do the last album, I thought you guys were sweet to come down. I never think you'd come down. So
Yeah, we never thought
coming-
you was gonna happen.
Yeah, we never
Yeah.
thought. We didn't think
As
Australia.
like, oh my god, they're here. Like, oh,
Yeah.
like-
I've been trying to come to this country for years.
Really?
So
And even Adelaide, because Adelaide's pretty much most bands miss Adelaide. It's normally just Eastern States. So you
Yeah,
come to
yeah.
Adelaide's actually a pretty big deal for
It's a
Adelaide.
big deal for
Yeah.
us.
cool. Well,
We know
we're stoked.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. Excellent. Well, again, thanks, guys. And
Thank you,
yeah.
Cool.